Hello, Maria Ryan. How are you?
Yeah, I'm groovy. How are you?
Great, thanks. So, everybody, this is Maria Ryan. She is a child and adolescent psychotherapist, but general good egg. I followed Maria Ryan on Instagram for quite a while now, and Maria knows I'm a big fan. I could listen to her talk forever. I want her to be a DJ on Christmas FM. We'll come to that. You can check out Maria on her website and on Instagram, and later on you can have a look at what I put under the video for all the details to get in touch with Maria. For those of you who are on Instagram with us, you will have seen us try to do this before, but it was hard. So sorry if you're hearing things twice for the Instagram gang, but we're gonna start from scratch again and see how we get on. But this time we won't be interrupted.
Yeah.
So thanks, Maria, for coming back.
Oh,
Really
thanks for
appreciate it.
inviting me back.
It's great to have you. In your sparkliness there.
No, I know. I dressed up for the occasion. Sure, why not?
Yeah, dead right. So what we're going to do is start off with what I always ask my guests, which is tell me who your tribe are and how you keep them.
How I keep them. Who are my tribe? I'm not too sure. I'd like to think I have a bunch of absolute sounders.
Yeah.
Like online or in person?
Both. I'm interested in how people, because I think sometimes we have this view in life, and this was my problem for years, that I didn't have this humongous group of, I didn't have this gang, this huge gang that I hung around with. I had lots of individuals, and I didn't understand that they were my tribe. So I love sort of dissecting what are tribes to different people. What does it mean to you? Some people don't have them and are fine not having them, and I love that as well. You know, that idea that it's okay not having one.
I definitely have tribes, or else there is tribes around me and I jump into their tribes.
Yeah.
I think, like, I suppose, I've come from a very small family, so I've always had to outsource, if that makes sense.
I get you.
So,
Yeah.
like, I was definitely that kid who went into other people's houses and had dinner with them and went on holidays and had Christmases with them. I'm ridiculous, but I think I've got really, really lucky with people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still kind of friends with two of my school friends. Definitely since social media has started, they have found me on here. And I was, believe it or not, very, very quiet in secondary school, and quiet again in college. I was pretty much invisible. When I was 18, I went and did my dream job, which was a Mosney red coat for those in, my favorite job. So I went to Mosney as a child, growing up, loved red coats, thought they were brilliant. In first year of college, Mosney came around to the college. They were looking for people. Everyone wanted to be bar staff. I wanted to be a red coat. I think I was probably the last person called up for the job. And I think that's when I really came out of my shell. I love musical theatre. I love acting the maggot. I have a very playful side. And then after that, I did, when I was working in holiday centres, I'm still friends with those guys. Then I've done like a lot of volunteering in a place called Barrettstown. Still really good friends with, like, they are some of my daily peeps that I check in on. A lot of my tribe live far away. So this year I've had to really look at who's around me. And like, I think that's something that COVID brought up for me. A lot of my friends are far away and I do a lot of traveling to meet them. And this year, and over the last year or two, I suppose where I'm living is in the centre of Dublin. So like Dublin city centre is in my 5K. But I'm lucky to have a lot of good friends here now as well. But I think social media has probably brought me to be my truest self.
That's really interesting.
I know that is intuitive, but I suppose when I'm with a group of people, sometimes I feel I get swayed and moved. Whereas when I'm in my sitting room and with my cat and chatting about I'm a celebrity or how I cannot make scones, that is authentic me. You're probably the only, like, especially during the OG lockdown, you were possibly the only people I saw on a daily basis. That's because really we were so restricted. Yeah,
because a lot of people find they can't be their authentic selves on social media, so it's really interesting that you're able to do that.
I'm private about things. I don't show everything, so I think there's a big difference between exposing everything.
I'm
probably crying, but let's be honest, I've cried a lot this year on the internet, and but like, I think there's a difference between showing everything that people want you to show and then actually being private about some stuff. So obviously it's not a diary. It's not my
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
that would be an absolute mess.
I think it's really interesting what you said about being invisible in college and school, because again, and I love this about the people I've met on Instagram. I love how inspirational it is that so many people felt like that in school and college, and are looking at people like you and going, "Oh my God, Maria felt like that." Like that's
I was that. I was nobody. I was nobody. I'm like a nobody. Nothing. Known for nothing. Known for nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. And what was it about the red coat that made you get in touch with that inner
music self? And just I suppose I was never seen as, so I think probably in school I was always the witty sidekick behind my amazing groups of friends who were, I was younger than my friends, so everyone was out drinking and partying. Like, look at my cherub face. Like, I couldn't get in anywhere. So I think when I was in Mosney, it was something I was confident at, something I really wanted to do. Also, I moved away from home for it. So like my first summer as an 18-year-old, I was gone for 12 weeks, and happily did so. Like, obviously got a bit homesick here and there, but but I think, you know, I suppose I love being expressive. I love being creative. I think probably in school, and maybe because my mom passed away was when I was in school, maybe the only thing I was known for was, maybe, and I don't know, I don't feel that was what the rhetoric or the dialogue around it was, but my mom did pass away when I was in secondary school. My leaving cert was 6th year for me, was just try and get through this thing where your brain does not work due to bereavement and trauma.
Survive,
just try and get through it and try and get into a course. And I did like my course. So my course, like, I have a degree in electronic engineering and telecommunications through media, which just rolls right off the tongue, doesn't it?
Doesn't it?
But it was based in media. So we had radio stuff. So like my Nixer in college was fixing video recorders.
God. Kids now are like, what is that?
I know, Google it.
So what year were you in when your mom died?
My mom died 25 years ago this year, so 1995. Yeah.
And what year were you in school? Was it 6th year it happened?
I was 5th year.
Right.
But
it's a formative age as well.
And a very big year for learning stuff for your leaving cert. So King Lear, I tell you, still get the shivers from trying to learn that. I remember, like, I think it was Act 3, Scene 3, he's out in the heath, and I was like, I get this. Maroon down in the heath, I can resonate with this, King Lear. And I was, but so unfortunate, he had those gowls for daughters, didn't he? Like 2 out of 3 gowls.
But did it affect, do you think, your future career choice? Because something so big happening as a child, did it help you really resonate when you found that you wanted to do, this child and play psychotherapy?
I'd love to say yes, absolutely, but no, someone else saw it in me. Someone else saw it in me. I would have never discovered what I'm doing now, except someone said, "You ever thought about working with kids?" And I was like, "Oh, no way. No," I was hell bent on being a radio presenter. And I was like, but then she was like, "Maria, could you do up your CV and have a little look?" And everything I had done between 17 and 23, 24 had been working with kids.
Wow. Like starting with Mosney.
I did 2 years in Trebolgan. So that was full time. That was January to November. I was down there. I was running kids clubs. I was coming up with ideas for kids clubs. Then I worked in a theatre on box office. And then one of the ladies, Shelley from Mosney, was like setting up a dance. So I was a dance teacher. I like laugh. No. Like, God love me. God love me.
But the kids,
the whole thing around it was, no, I want them to discover something about themselves. It's not about winning medals. I don't want to enter them in competition. So I was doing contracts for Roiga and other children and youth clubs in Limerick and Tipperary and Clare. But it was all about bringing the best out of them. It wasn't about being the best dancer. And I remember speaking to the lady in charge of the course, and she was like, how are you finding about the classes? Like, I just want them to be, I just feel there's so much potential. And then she was like, I think I have an idea. And I'm going to be honest, I was really hesitant. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to be honest. So she said, why not try the first weekend of the course and see what you think? And by, I'd say about hour 3, give me all of this. This is what I'm meant to be doing in my life. Yeah.
Oh, Maria.
Yeah. no, in love. Like this is exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, wow, Maria, that's amazing. I think it's amazing as well, and this is something that, you know, I think you and I talk about, you know, a lot offline, is really helping people find that thing that
Yes.
makes them feel like that. I mean, that is one of the most exciting things we can do. You know, you doing it with kids, me doing it
And
with
we
adults.
don't know it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I always think I would have, like, okay, she spotted something in me, but I get very excited about getting up in the morning and thinking, like, I'm thinking, you know, tomorrow I've got this child, and then I've got that thing, and I'm like, oh God, pinch me this. And I'm 15 years in, like,
Oh, that's lovely.
and it's not like beautiful every day, don't you worry.
Yeah.
Like, there's definitely times you're like, can I work in Starbucks? I want the most complicated thing to be a coffee order.
Yeah.
But you're right. I think she knew me well enough to go, I think you're getting in your own way there, Maria Ryan. I think, you know, she made the path easy.
Yeah.
Even though I was so
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Because I think as well, when you're doing what you're meant to do, the tough days aren't as tough. You know, the resilience is higher, isn't it? You know, yeah, you do get those moments of, can I just do something easier?
Around it. Like, I know, like, some of my favorite people in my world now, in my play therapy world. And I'll say, yeah, some of that. And then there's some people I've gone on brilliant adventures with. So, like, even in the last 5 years since my dad passed, I've gone on epic adventures, like to Peru. I went on a hiking trip to Peru off the bat. I'd taken up hiking in March and decided in May I'd go to Peru in September. And I tell you, those are other people that I could literally say, hi, I need you.
Yeah.
They're incredible people.
Did you know them before you went to Peru?
Not at all.
Wow, that's really brave.
Yeah.
I'm really brave.
I like doing stuff, yeah. But I suppose I was like, let's do this. And they're incredible humans, incredible. My little llama tribe are incredible humans. Yeah.
I think people that are inclined to do that, though, have that. I just think their incredibleness is closer to the surface, because I think everybody's incredible, but some of us have it higher up on the surface. It's more easy to connect with, I suppose. But people who are willing to go, okay, let's go to Peru, you know, they don't have as many barriers or boundaries as the rest of us might have.
Or else they've already traversed them to get to the point of getting on that plane with strangers.
Yeah, wow. And what led you to that point of going, fuck this, let's do Peru? Was there a journey to get there? Or was it like
at the start of I was like, I think around 2015, and Dad passed, and I was going to the gym and running, but they weren't filling me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I feel like I'm ticking a box, and I could feel I was being a bit attitudey in class and gym, and I was like, yeah, I like lifting the heavy shit over my head. Sorry, but I'm like, I don't love it. And then I was like, what would I really like? And I was like, missing adventure, because obviously the last 2 or 3 years I was working in Dublin, but then going home every weekend to support my brother with my dad and my uncle. And I think I just wanted space. And I was like, I'll try out the hiking. So I went on like this meet and greet or meetup, I think was the app. Went for one day, and I was like, oh, I like this. And my friends were like, what are you doing? You're walking outside in the rain in March. And I was like, I think, thank God my friends are so like, watch, we trust you. I hope you're, you know where we are if you need us. And I'm like, yep. And I just liked it. I liked the idea of it. And I suppose the higher I got, the more I wanted. Yeah. So then I was like, time for an adventure.
That's amazing.
And I think, pardon?
I was just going to say, a friend of mine really found himself through a gay hiking club, and it changed him fundamentally, and it was wonderful for him. You know, I think he'd just come out, but the hiking club gave him this new kind of network, confidence, and he would look at hiking like sort of meditation while walking, you know.
Exactly, active meditation, yeah. And I would completely agree with that. Yeah.
I met his long-term partner through it, which is so cool. Yeah, like it was one of those things where I watched him blossom through the hiking club.
Yeah. It's so like, and it depends. Like the food, the sandwiches you have on a hike are the best tasting sandwiches. Yeah. The conversations, like Glendalough is, I think, quite a spiritual place. But if you're hiking through there with a bunch of sandwiches and your friends, like there's challenges, there's a lot to be said. I completely agree. It's a journey, you know.
So do you still hike?
I can't really as much as I could. I damaged my Achilles. So, but thankfully, the hiking doesn't define me and the llamas. We still hang out. We still chat with each other. They were so supportive when I made the leap to go to launch my private practice this year. They very much knew, no, this is exactly where you're meant to be going. And ironic, like we're hikers, like so. But I do get out. My new thing at the moment is sea swimming.
I was going to talk to you about that.
Right? Okay. Now I haven't been in the sea in about 4 weeks.
Yeah.
5K limitation took me out of my favorite zones. We tried locally, didn't work.
Yeah.
So if you hear any mild screaming on December the 1st around 9:15, 9:30.
So tell me then, I know a few people who are doing this bloody freezing thing. It's becoming more and more of a thing now, people getting into the freezing cold Irish Sea. Tell me your why behind that. I'm also scared of water, so there's many reasons why I'm like, oh, why would you do that? So
well, I suppose I was conscious about I wanted to start doing it last year, and it just didn't work out.
Right.
I'm a very big believer, if it doesn't work out, try it again, because God love me, I've never done anything right on the first go. Trying lazy.
Who has, Maria? Jesus.
Pardon?
Who has?
Yeah, I know, but I think somebody's dissertation of doing something and it'll all be perfect.
Yeah.
The definition of that not happening.
Try her.
But I suppose it was a lovely way of meeting with friends, social distanced.
Yeah.
Because I have to keep myself, I have to try and limit so many interactions because the children I'm working with are quite vulnerable. But in the sea, we can keep socially distanced. We're not traveling together. We meet there. And there's always, the chats at the sea are like the chats on the hills.
Yeah.
We're talking about anything. And also, once you're in, you are completely in your body. Yeah. So much of this year has been, we've had to learn how to use Zoom, how to use Teams, we've had to learn how to stay engaged on this platform without looking at our phone, drinking our coffee. I'm conscious I got my water there, but the keys are there, the cat's behind me, the Dyson needs to be charged.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much distraction on this world that
Mm-hmm.
when you're in the sea, you will always warm up.
Really?
Baths and warm drinks. I've never, now I'd say December dip will be different, but I've never come away rattling.
Yeah.
Because we're walking straight after it. We're usually going for, I call it the dip and sip. So dip and then get your coffee afterwards. Yeah. And that's a conversation in itself. Like.
So this time of year, how long would you stay in the sea?
So the last time we were in was about maybe 5 minutes. Now, when I was in the fort, do you remember the day the announcements were going to be announced? So that was a Monday morning. I woke up at 7:15, texted my friend Cora, who's in Dublin. I was like, are you up for it? So I was on the M50 at like 7:05 in my swimming togs, ready to go. And we were in for a good 20 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. But once, like, it depends now. I'd say in the Balticness of Dublin, like, let's see, 4 or 5 minutes. But no, it's not like I'm in there timing myself. It's just in and out. And myself and my friend Claire, who I most regularly dip with, we're literally like, our goal is, if we're just too cold, we need to get out. Yeah. This isn't like, we're not women.
Punishment. Yeah.
Exactly. And sure, the sooner we get out, the sooner we get to coffee.
Yeah.
The changing is the hardest bit.
I'd say so. Oh.
Literally get my knickers in a twist.
Did you ever see that Mr. Bean Bean clip? I'll send it to you later, where he's trying to change on the beach. I'm not a big Mr. Bean fan, but it reminds me, because I'm really like private, so I'm really not one for like exposing everything when I'm quickly changing, like you see on European beaches. That's it's so funny. I'll send that to you after. I have a friend of mine who's doing a thing called Dippers for Nippers, so they stay an extra minute in the sea every day. And he did 29 minutes in the sea yesterday. No, 29 is today. 29 minutes in the sea.
Clear.
Every day. Yeah, starting at 1 minute and then moving up each day in November. So yeah, I must actually give him some money, because I do think it's incredible what him and his friends are doing for this charity. Yeah, 29 minutes in the Irish Sea. Bloody hell.
I did notice though, when I was down in Limerick in August, I did notice a significant temperature drop in the Atlantic Ocean.
Which is the colder one?
I'd say the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah.
Because it's on the Wild West.
Yeah, true. God, yeah.
Yeah.
So then there's a lot of belonging in your life. From the sounds of it. A lot of belonging. Has that always been the case for you?
Yeah. I've always tried to find my identity.
Yeah.
I still don't see people who are like me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I found people who match my soul, but maybe, I don't know, I think this is kind of, you know, I suppose, yeah, I think so. Growing up, my mom was quite ill when I was young, and when she passed away when I was 6, she was really unwell for a good, 7-8 years. But my dad and my brother are like, or my dad was, my brother is, they're over 6 foot. They're built like doors. They are quiet, reserved. They stand back, they're observant. They're the very opposite of me. So I think I've always kind of tried to find people like me. Yeah. Yeah. And obviously with the adoption story there as well, like, I'm not surprised it comes up and that it's there. It should be there. The belonging might be an active theme in my life. Yeah.
But again, I think it is for everybody, but we just don't acknowledge it. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to start this Tribe Talks, was belonging was such a tough thing for me right until my 40s, probably. Yeah. My 40s was maybe late 30s, but definitely 40s. It's the first time I felt real belonging anywhere. And then all of a sudden it came everywhere. Like, yeah. All of a sudden it was like everywhere. In work, in at home, in Newbridge, in choir, like all of a sudden it was everywhere. But I just find it such an interesting topic that a lot of people find it hard to acknowledge, that they just don't feel like they belong, and how important that feeling is. Yeah, it really can, make a difference in how we view the world, I suppose. How good the world is.
Continual journey, because who are we like? What we're always looking for. Do you mean, I think sometimes we just never come out of the teenage role where we want to be accepted by peers and accepted and aligning with our true soul. And teenagers are incredible to work with. Like, they're so passionate. Yeah. Like, they're so cool. But I think society demands different things. It interrupts, I think, a lot of where we might want to land in our worlds at times. Yeah. So it is true. I think belonging is where we start, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And do you see that a lot with the kids that you do therapy with? A need or a desire for belonging and understanding?
Understanding and acceptance.
Yeah.
Yeah. And being met. So I think there's a really, acceptance is a big one. Yeah. Will you accept me? Will you hold me when I'm having this really, really big feeling inside of me? Yeah. Can you be there? And of course parents can. Of course they can. Yeah. There's a lot of massive holding out there. Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking of all the kids that, you said you're doing this 15 years and you still love it every day, which is amazing. So amazing. Is there a kid in all that 15 years that really stands out to you that you've never forgotten?
Oh, loads of them.
I was just going to say that. There's probably 20 million of them, but probably all of them, probably.
Loads. Yeah. And that I wish them well, or if I'm lighting candles, I might send that good vibe their way and wish them well. Oh, that's lovely. And hope they're okay. But one thing I do know is that my door is always open and people could always find me if they need to come back to me. Yeah. And if they're not knocking on my door, they're doing okay. That's lovely. They're doing okay. They know where I am. They know I can be found now. I found that. My pink door, my Limerick flag outside. Yeah. But definitely children who've taught me way more than I'm, whom I've learned from, who have taught me major lessons in life.
What kind of lessons have you learned from the kids?
That acceptance is a big one. Just meeting them where they are. Yeah. If they are I remember having this crystal clear moment in a session, and this little boy, I think he had a very troubled history. Very, very troubled history. Most gorgeous little edible nugget ever. I do not eat children, just to be clear.
Only with a bit of salt.
And I remember he was holding back, even in his body. And I remember looking at him and going, "You look like you're having the saddest day." And he just bust out crying. It's like anything he'd been holding in for so long just came out. He just needed a cuddle. He just needed to be held. And I remember thinking, so many times we're trying to fix things, and then I have to remind myself they're not broken, they just need support. Yeah. They just need to be met. They just need to be accepted. They just need to be attuned to. And I remember thinking, if I've learned nothing in this world, you know what I mean? It is just about being listened to, someone being there in my hardest days, and I can hold that, and that's okay. I'm a grown up. I can do that for a very small little person who's having a very, very tough time at the moment.
I think it's really interesting, and it's something I would come across in, I suppose, in HR, the difficulty people have with having difficult conversations, that they don't think they can cope with what they're going to hear. And I think what you just said there stands for so much in anybody's experience, that if you just lean in and don't try to fix, there's so much power in that, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. Or even just sitting still, just sitting with, because I suppose this is more my job, like that. I don't want them to be sitting with more than they can or they need to when I'm there to help. So I'm not going to look into interrupting. I'm going to almost actually sit back so they have more space to feel the trust in what they need to give me.
Yeah. And a safe space is something I'm really interested too. I'm really interested in psychological safety, you know, in teams and things like that. Yeah. How do you go about creating that safe space? What would you do intentionally?
So I suppose even from the start, I'm setting very clear boundaries with the parents about what to expect after session, and what I would expect them to not ask or, you know, inquire about how the session is. Let the child, because don't know about anybody else, I've been in therapy, and the last thing you want is someone asking you about your session straight after, because you're usually like, wow, my brain's usually farting. So instead of that confidentiality, not the confidentiality, but that kind of safety around it and that space. And when the child comes in, I let them know what I know already. So I use a tool called the therapeutic touchstone story. So when I'm meeting with the parents before therapy starts, I'm telling them about my expectations of them, but I'm also developing this story of telling the child what I know, so that when they come in, then they know, and it's all child appropriate, child centered explaining. So for, say, if a child had something when they were 6, it's going to be a very different story to how I'm presenting it to a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
So I'm always looking, and even I'm not even looking at their chronological level, I'm looking at their developmental level. How are they presenting? You know, because what are they going to be able to hear? But then, so I'm establishing that already, that I am a safe container, and I am an expert of play, I'm an expert of feelings, and I'm an expert of helping children out with very muddled up feelings. So even in that story, I'm telling them what my job is. And in here, this is a safe space to explore your thoughts and feelings, and there's no right or wrong. Everything is, you just play, and that's all I want. That's your job in here. And I'm in charge keeping it safe. That's my job. But I'm not setting up loads of limitations at the start, because that's just going to restrict everything. So, and then in relation to like general things, like say if a child is starting at 5, I'll let them know that whatever amount of time their session is, say the big hand will be at 10, and I'll give them warnings around, we've got 10 or 5 minutes left, whichever they need most. And that, the handover a handover at the end isn't like me telling the parent exactly what they did. Johnny had a very busy session, and Johnny might actually need lots of cuddles this evening. They were playing really hard today.
How do you play with the teenagers? What does that look like?
Different ways. So if you have a teenager, so lots of different ways. I might be using goddess cards. I might be using angel cards. I might be using graphite. I might be using clay, glue guns, anything and everything. But like, you could be a 13-year-old who suffered a trauma as a 3-year-old. So they might be knee deep in the doll's house too. They might want to say, actually, I'd love to tell you this story with the doll's house. So the toys are all out. I don't restrict my playroom due to age. And I have like the sand tray. I don't know if you can see that there. That is I'm cleaning today. But I use the sand trays with they're very much drawn to them, or they're drawn to the miniatures. So if they're telling me something, I might ask them to show me or pick out a figure that represents this or this issue or this part of your life. Or say if they're doing something, say if they're a 13-year-old and they're saying something happened when they're 7, can you pick out a miniature for now and a miniature for then, and maybe pick out someone or something that might help this situation. It's lovely creative work. Teenagers are great. Yeah, no, it's cool. It's really cool.
Now tell me, are you like a doctor at a party where a parent will get you in a corner and say, listen, Johnny's got a problem, Maria, I need your help? Do you find that people ask you things in
At the
challenging
start,
cases?
yeah. I have a friend in Scotland and she was warning, Maria's not on the clock now. But no, I'm very much, no, my friend, no, not really. Not really. No, it's usually because I'm too busy chatting and asking about everything else and getting up on the dance floor, like, you know.
There's no time to talk about your kid. Come on, let's dance.
It's just, I suppose I'm really conscious I can't help you when I'm busy, and I'd love to give someone my full attention, but this isn't the time or the place. And
people respect that usually.
You do, yeah. Oh yeah. Because I think so many of my friends love me as their friend as well, and not just as Maria Ryan, the play therapist.
Yeah. One dimension.
I don't tell taxi drivers what I do, and I don't tell. When I meet new people, I really tell them what I do.
Yeah.
It's not holding back. It's just people can think, okay, this is all I'm about. And I'm like, oh, there's way much more to me now than my job. Like, I'm actually gas, you know.
I'm going to lead with that. I'm gas crack.
I'm gas crack, yeah. Once in a while, but feed regularly.
And tell me about social media, because I love the way you do social media, in that you're not all over it.
No time.
No, but it's lovely, because I love tuning in, because it's always going to either make me laugh or get me thinking. But yeah, you do it in a very succinct way, which is nice. So tell me about your relationship with social media. When did it start?
You know what? You have to credit one of my friends from Barrettstown, Maeve Egan, around this, because I started in 2015, so about 6 months after Dad passed, and family member was encouraging me to go to the ploughing championships to find a husband. And I put this up, and my friend Maeve said, you need to talk way more to camera. This is gas. So you can fully blame my friend Maeve. I started off on Snapchat, and I've no plan around it. I said, people have, like, I think people have time to post. I have no more the life now to do that. If I have time to put something up, I don't, like, I do have to remind myself every once in a while, it's not a job. I'm not getting paid for it. I have to remember that I'm not an ambassador for, like, okay, mental health is part of my job, but I don't see it as all of me. I'm conscious I'm getting a delivery. Can I answer the door?
Sure. Why don't I pause for a moment, YouTubers? We're back. We're back, folks. Sorry, we were talking about social media, and so you're a I never got a Snapchat. I have a limit. I don't do Twitter. I can't do Twitter, and Facebook I'm not even really on anymore.
I saw the bridge over to Instagram. I just made the move. I don't operate both at all, so Snapchat just went by the wayside. And I think it's a nice enough platform. I think people are kind. I've met some amazing people on there too. And I suppose, especially during lockdown, like, it was intense, but it was a lovely outlet to have people there. And isn't it nice to creep into people's houses at times?
I know, right? I'm always looking over a certain lady who's watching us here. I'm always looking over her shoulder, Jenny, and asking her to show me the rest of her house. I'm always like, Jenny, can you
crafts she's up to? I'm like, right.
And the colours in her house. She's probably scarlet now, Maria. Scarlet now. We're talking about her.
We're fans. We're just saying we're fans.
We're fans, yeah. So tell me then, do you get work through your social media? Like, do people end up on your website or becoming clients through social media?
I only launched the website in September. I don't know, like, no one has ever, like, I think my name has been passed on by other people, but no one has come in and kind of said, I follow you on Instagram, that's how I found it.
Okay.
So, but I think there's been word of mouth. I think someone has said to someone who, Maria Ryan's on Instagram. She has some posts up about child mental health, and that's very important to me. Yeah. So.
Yeah, brilliant. So, are there any downsides to social media in your world?
I think, like, some people have definitely, I suppose around 2 years ago, I put up a post about anxiety, and then so many people came into my DMs and were just offloading loads of information. And I remember feeling so uncomfortable because it's an app. And I was like, oh, this is scary. And I can't meet their needs because, and even I think people are like, oh, I'll give you more information. And I'm like, it's kind of not the way I work, in that, like, the private and confidentiality part is in the, like, when I'm meeting parents, I'm meeting them here. It's even not usually online. So I had to put up a disclaimer, but that's really it. I think other people, some people have expectations of people on Instagram, and like, I'm happy to talk about stuff I really know about, but I'm definitely not happy talking about stuff I haven't a clue on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so the stuff around the mother and baby homes at the end of October 2020, I definitely had a big feelings around that.
Yeah.
And I felt I can definitely confidently talk around this because I'm an adoptee. This is something that this is a known experience. But
and the consequences of such, you're very, very, very aware of the consequences of such. There's, sorry, what do you mean? Like, or as in, you're the right person to talk about it because you understand the consequences of what was being put.
Yeah, and I have to be really clear as well, that's my experience. Other people have had different experiences, but you know, there was, I suppose I was seeing it from this point of view, and I thought it was important that, so whenever I'm looking at something or investigating something, I'm looking at sources and where the sources are and what's their motivation.
Yeah.
I mean, whereas when I was speaking about my experience, I've no motivation other than justice for people who are in the same position as me, who are looking or trying very, very hard in an already hard system to access information or gain access or not be scared out of their wits that they will never get access.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there was no chat around that before the bill. There was no guaranteeing that, oh yeah, no, it's going to be fine. We just haven't told you. Yeah. We didn't tell you this really important bit that that's not going to happen. So that's only going to burn up things. But yeah, I think there's, but social media is, like, I think, isn't it brilliant the way it's growing, and that you, like, as I change, I'm changing who I watch and what I'm interested in. I've like culled and gone in different directions, and even like different times of the year I'll be interested in different things, you know, and different people. And I also have my cores that I watch all the time. Not their cores, just my core people. But you know, like, but I it's great in some ways, you know.
I agree with you. I think once you curate it properly, it's wonderful.
And I think we should be really mindful around ourselves and what we're exposing ourselves to. Because there can be so many times where, you know, I wake up in the morning and I watch Nurse Fancy Pants's 10.
Yes, I love her.
But like in May, I was probably watching a segment on COVID restrictions. Someone maybe disobeying travel restrictions or something like that. Maybe then something on Black Lives Matter, then maybe something on someone getting their child up out of bed, and then something on cookies. And I remember thinking, that's a lot before my porridge.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Like, even I've had to really mind what I watch and how I watch it, because I noticed myself, I'm way more sensitive this year. I'm more tired. I'm keeping a lot of energy for my work and for myself. I'm doing the fun things that I love as well.
I actually stopped looking at emails and Instagram in bed in the morning. I wait till I'm downstairs.
Good idea.
I was getting, again, I worry about that old phone addiction. That is tough, like putting the phone down, because I love reading, as you know. And I was having the laugh with one of my other Insta mates, Mrs. Hawkins, the other night, and I was like, tell Steph to get, this was all separate messages, tell Steph to get off her phone and read her book.
And you love reading.
I love reading, but I find it really hard to just put the phone down, right? So I struggle with that. I think it's FOMO as well, because I'm a very, very, very sociable person, and Insta gives me that, like you said earlier, the school friends, like I'm back in touch with people, and it's wonderful to have that connection with people. I love it. Like
the girl I used to sit beside in class when I was 8 is like, we're now
a primary school friend. Oh my god.
Yeah. Now a lot of our primary schools went to the same secondary school and stuff, but we didn't. But she had the best fancy paper, and the smell.
Fancy paper.
I know. And Steph, she had Kylie Minogue's album. We should all be so lucky as Ciara. Like,
I said on my a Tribe Talk recently, somebody called me Kylie when I was 16, and I still remember it. It's still one of my best memories ever. I was a mechanic at 16, and I had red overalls, and somebody called me Kylie walking down the street, and I was like, Like, that's it. That's all I need in life, really.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
made.
you.
Thank you.
I accept.
Yeah.
I
Thank you,
accept.
whoever that was. Thank you. 30 years later, I'm still like, thanks.
Yeah, good times, good moments.
Tell me, has lockdown changed you then? Has it changed you fundamentally, or has it surface changed you?
Straighter hair, I'm wearing more lipstick. Ironically, considering we're wearing masks. I suppose I changed my career, or it's changed my business.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to myself.
Yeah.
Just that I decided to branch out into private practice at the start of March. And just timing had it that the world would completely change on the 12th.
I mean, you know. What's it say? God laughs at our plans or something? Yeah.
And actually, that's Dad's anniversary.
Oh.
So every once in a while, I think the gods are on my side. It's just going to be very challenging. I don't know, because I think I'm still in the middle of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have that hindsight yet.
Yeah.
Still, and I think we chatted about this before, but
yeah.
I still think I'm still growing and moving. I still think I've more to uncover in this.
Yeah.
I still think we've more roads to go in relation to COVID, in relation to getting through Christmas. It's still very challenging. Now we're coming up against Christmas, seeing what that looks like. You know, I feel like I'm still maybe in a little bit of what's next mode, as opposed to consolidating what I've learned. I think a lot of has been learned. I suppose everything, as one of my friends say, everything in your life changed except for like your house. So like my whole daily schedule. So now I'm building up a different daily schedule where I don't have to go to an organization. I'm working for myself. And at the moment I'm working from home because some therapy centers aren't active and open. I don't know I don't know. I'd say if you asked one of my friends though, you know the way your friends see it differently, and they'll be like, oh my God, she's a different person. Oh my God, she's doing this differently and she's doing that differently. But I'm not there yet. I think I've changed my views on things and how I interact and who I'm interacting with, and how like social media, how much time is it taking up in my world? Is it the best use of my time? I've increased my need for nature. I really recognize that when I'm not aired every day, at least for 20 minutes. Good, not pretty. Also, yeah, I've just kind of looked at coping skills that I've used and how they are probably not serving me at the moment. So I've had to use different coping skills.
Interesting. Very self-aware, Maria. Very self-aware.
Yeah, very self-aware. Comes with the job.
I know, right?
Comes with the job, yeah.
Do you have any defining moments in your life where you went, yeah, I became more of myself there. I became more of me?
Yeah, they're the hard moments though, you know, when you separate out from somebody. Yeah, probably like when you make a decision that someone who probably took up a lot of space in your life, and you realize as you grow, which we all do, we grow in different ways, we learn in different ways, we're attracted to different things in different ways and different, you know, I think, and respecting that can be so hard because it means some things have to be left behind. And not that they're bad, it's just that they're not part of where I'm going next. And whether it's people or jobs or, you know, places or ideas about myself, and who I'm serving. I know, I suppose, because you know, I engage in therapy during training, and I've gone back many times since to help get support for challenges. You figure out things might not be serving you in the way you thought they were. So I think it's more when I separate out myself and think like that, if I put myself first, what does that look like? And you don't want to hurt anybody in the process, but then again, I have to remember that in an almost selfish way that I have to be here for me. I'm not living for anybody else. I've done a lot of living for everybody, a lot of living for other people in my life, thinking that if I only met their standards, I'd be brilliant. And then when I think we can always, I think that's a kind of an ongoing thing for I think for me anyway. And I think that's back to the acceptance and the belonging. Will you like me if I'm more like you?
Yeah.
So a lot of defining myself and moving to meet that, they can be very defining moments, very hard because you're shedding.
Yes. It's a good way to
And
put it.
again, not in a judgmental, or it's just, I'm going this way.
Mm-hmm.
I want to go this way. I think my body, my soul is telling me, it keeps on telling me I need to go this way. Do you want to come? And I think people will come back around as well.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like Kira, my best friend when I was 8, you know, he's super supportive.
When I got my head around the idea that friendships ebb and flow, it just changed my, and it changed my self-worth, you know, instead of overthinking, oh my God, why don't they call me anymore? Why don't I call them? Like, what's wrong? And then I realized I just let go, you know, that surrendering idea, and that friendships just ebb and flow. And oh my God, like, just changed everything.
Yeah, and it's us, and we're allowed to go in different ways, and we don't own people, and they don't own me, and we don't own them, and let's just respect where we're going, and let's just trust. And I think, there's a lot of trusting the universe and trusting the plan that can sometimes be ahead of us. Not the easiest of things though, Jake. I always think of it. Do you remember it? What's the last one? Is it like Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade? And figuring out you remember, it's like he's figuring out how the word Jesuit or something is spelt. And he's like, oh, this is the way. I'm gripped by that scene. That scene resonates me every once in a while. It's not the path I thought it was going to be. It's this way. I
love those moments, those tingles.
Yeah.
I have a question about you working for yourself, because so many people want to take that jump. On a scale of 1 to 10, how scary is it working for yourself? 10 being the scariest, 1 being not scary at all.
It's pretty scary. Now and ever, the payoff for me, and I think it's so personal, because my friends have often said, Maria, I think you need to be your own boss. The way you want to work and the way you have your ideas around what way your practice is, it's pretty kind of sometimes non-conforming with other organizations. And you have this idea of the way you want to work, which tells me, and I've got some lovely business people in my life who are fab, but they're very much like, I still think you're kind of ebbing towards this way. So it's pretty scary, but I've had so many like wow moments, like even since September when it started really getting back in, because you know people were just gone during the summer, but I've had like wow moments since I've started my private practice. And I even can't believe it. Like I remember I came out of a session last week and I was like, I'm doing it, and it felt right. Whereas for other people, not the right thing. Do you mean it? And we don't know that, but I knew so I was in an organization, then I moved to organization at the start of the year, and I was like, I don't think this is where I'm meant to be. This isn't the feeling I thought I'd get from being here. And then I was like, oh God, if it's not this, because this isn't the fit, is it that? And that was private practice, like, so. But if something feels that it's not the right fit, then I owe it to myself to find what it is the right fit. But good Lord, there's still hangy-tighty moments where you're going, well,
I paid a mortgage this month.
Like that came up so much now, because obviously there was no income. I started with private practice in a global pandemic when I work with people who need to be in a room with me for co-regulation.
You're right back onto Maslow's triangle, aren't you? And you're going up and down it the whole time, aren't you? Like
absolutely.
Like you're going from self-fulfillment right back down to psychological safety, right back up to like, wow.
No, I don't know how my Fitbit isn't topping with the amount of ladders I've done. Do you know what I mean?
But would you do it all again in a global? No. So if you know all the stuff that's going to happen, right? So you've got that benefit of hindsight. Would you still say to Maria at March, do it?
Oh yeah. Knowing now what I know,
That's really cool.
It was much harder than I thought it was going to be, and I'm presuming, but I've heard that so much in private practice. This is hard. How and ever, I think I'm doing possibly some of the best work in my life.
Oh my God, it's giving me tingles again.
Yeah, because I've got so much time to think about, okay, what does this look like? How can, you know, the way, yeah, no, like there's some powerful work. I just love my job. Yeah. So I think it was the right step for me, because now it's empowered me and energized me, and, you know, my self-confidence, my self-esteem, my self-worth is still, and yeah, it's up and down as I discover everything about private practice, and I'm presuming I will be learning about this forevermore, but it was a chance worth taking. Yeah, it was well worth it. Yeah.
And do you have a plan in your head for your business? Are you the kind of person that has sort of like a year plan, 18 months,
I
5
have
years?
never ever been like that, ever. But I have little ideas of ways to help support, to help meet. I'd like to think I've got more to give. And I wouldn't have had these when I was in other organizations. So it's almost like I've got more time, I've got more headspace. But it's built on the experience that I got in those organizations and the people I learned so much from. But like, do you know what I mean? I'd like to think I've got more to give in my career. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Do you have a guilty pleasure, Maria? Do you believe in guilty pleasures?
I would never feel guilty about listening to Kylie Minogue or Jason. No way. Guilty can go in the bin. If something fills your soul, do it more than you do your other stuff.
I love it.
We deserve to feel more joy and gorgeousness in our life than ever. Like, you
know, cynicism is one emotion I really struggle with from other people. You know, people who are cynical about books or movies or music or whatever brings you joy. I remember I met a girl years ago, and I was talking to her about some TV show I loved, and she used the word silly. And I remember how it made me feel. So I'm really careful when people are telling me what they love, not to rain on their parade, because it's what you love, or type of books you like reading. Read whatever the fuck you like. Like, you know, if you like romance novels, and knock yourself out. If you like 50 Shades of Grey, just because I don't like it doesn't mean it doesn't bring you joy. You know, all sorts of joy, if you know what I mean.
Self-love all the way, guys. Come on. This life is hard enough. This is what we learned this year. This is so hard. Do whatever you can to put your Christmas music. I watch Christmas music or movies in August. Do what. This is hard enough. Do everything to add sprinkles of joy into your day. Do you know what I mean?
What brings you joy? If you can pick out something that brings you joy, simple joy, what is it?
Singing in the car. Singing Poor Dublin 5. They were getting a bit of heart this morning. Till now. You know, alone. It's like, I think the hair. I think I was feeling very Wilson Sisters this morning.
Oh yeah, baby, yeah. I once sang Barbara Streisand all the way to Waterford, like belted her out. I've got her best of, you know. And I remember at one point looking up, and there was a truck driver looking down into my car. He probably was thinking, is that girl in pain?
No, my love, give me €5 for this beautiful experience you have of Barbara Streisand duetting with Steph B.ie.
I know, right?
Yeah. I love singing. Touches a part of my soul and singing in harmony.
Oh, right.
Singing in harmony is emotional for me.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Yep. I'm like, all these beautiful voices singing together, creating this amazing sound, which I was in a musical society. I still am, hopefully, but and we did like a variety show, and you know that song by Elvis Presley, Can't Help Falling in Love? Yeah. If you ever listen to the musical All Shook Up, listen to the Can't Help Falling in Love. It is like a 6-part harmony. And and I remember singing, so I'm an alto, but like the way we were spread out, we were alto, soprano, baritone, whatever. And I remember like nearly holding the person, Roisin's hand beside me, because we were literally like busting with one of the harmonies, because it comes in so loud and so clear. Oh my God. Do more of that, huh? Yeah.
Singing Greatest Showman stuff.
Empowering.
Does the same, yeah. And then when you see the audience reacting to the Greatest Showman stuff, it's just like this dynamic that's going on.
It's like your soul's like bing, 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 bing. Yeah. And you're all part of this amazing experience that you're like, fuck, we know nothing. We know not. Why do we let our heads get in the way when our bodies can feel like this? You know? Yeah, or I get a massive buzz about getting on top of a big mountain. There's something spiritual about it for me. It's like, and I remember like when I was in Peru, a whole heap of us, it'll be the highest point I ever get in my life on land. And it was a point called Salcantay. And I remember me and my tent buddy and my other llamas, there was 4 of us just in a huddle. Actually, someone got the picture of it and it's stunning because it was the closest I knew I'd be to Dad and my mom.
Oh, Maria.
You know what I mean? And we were like literally touching the heavens, trying to get up on top of this rock where I could be as close. But that kind of stuff is, yeah. Do you know what I mean? That's stuff that is soul stirring. That's the, like, yeah, that kind of stuff. I think it's really interesting that it feeds my body. It feeds my soul. Like I could never think about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because what I'm telling you now and how you're feeling about it is because I'm seeing it from my body, you know?
Yeah. I think it's really interesting as well. I'm sure you see it in your work. I sure do when I'm coaching. A lot of the people who I coach, they've lost their joy. And it's something I ask them about very quickly. It's like, where do you get it? And where's it gone? And just get it back, you know? And even just talking about where they get their joy, they're suddenly like, oh my God, yeah, it's gone. I let it go. I've just let it go through all this thinking and processing and busy doing. And forgetting to be, you know?
Yeah. And have fun.
Yeah.
Let her
And one of the funnest things you can ever do, and I always say this to people, find yourself a 3-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old and play hide and seek with them. It is genuinely one of the funnest things you will ever do in your life. You will actually belly laugh for 20 minutes as they hide in the same place over and over again and run past you while you're standing at a wall like, oh.
You can see why I play every day, huh?
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. But like the stuff we're describing is free.
Fact. Yeah.
Singing is free. Playing with kids is free. Climbing a mountain, free. Like,
yeah. Chatting with my friends is really good as well.
Yeah. Petting your cat.
The cat. She's not free, Steph. She's quite demanding.
Well, yeah.
Our
little diva animals in our lives.
Not expensive. She's fantastic. Like she's incredible. She's incredible. Yeah. So yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a quick fire round to finish off. Right, you ready?
You need to wear something for
Shake it out. Favorite comfort food? You need comfort? What do you eat? Tea.
Hook it to my veins.
Yeah.
Matcha.
When you are called to be brave, what do you do? Where do you go?
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
You probably run around a bit. Probably run away. I need to take myself away from it. It won't be an instant step forward as in Braveheart. I'd probably have to give myself 5 minutes. My stomach like literally went into a heap there as you said it. I'd probably have to go away and regulate myself and just go, what do you need me to do this for? Okay, but it's never that short, I will be honest. It is usually, you're fucking kidding me. And then I think I just need to meet all the feelings that come before it. It's not instinct, but it will come.
Do you remember the bravest thing you ever did? Is there anything in your mind that you think, yeah, that was fucking brave?
Handing in my notices.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I knew what it meant. I knew this was the next step. Yeah. And again, probably breaking up with people or moving to Dublin was massive.
Yeah.
Massive. Like I was, yeah. Moving to Dublin was big. Buying my house.
Yeah. That's very brave.
Getting Karen the cat. Sure, I thought I'm not a cat person.
Yeah.
You know.
And there you are.
There I am.
Yeah.
Living as a servant to me cat, and sure I couldn't be happier in my role. Yeah.
I do love that dynamic with cats though. I do love it. They're like, just feed me, like just do what I tell you to do.
Could you just open the hot press today, Mom? I'd like to sit in there and rain from there. Okay. Yeah.
I do love that about them. I think we should all be more like cats.
Yeah, absolutely. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're not
people pleaser dogs, you know, and be a cat. Today, be a cat.
Fact.
Do you want to make new quotes? Today, be a cat, Steffi. Last show you binged and loved?
I binged and loved. Okay, I'm loving Virgin River on Netflix. It's very gentle and
writing that down.
This is not groundbreaking. This is very much like beautiful scenery. It looks like Canada. It's got space. Everyone is like not as in space in the sky. It's actually got these beautiful scenic scenes. I want to buy a pine candle today so I get the smell of the forest. I liked The Crown, but then I listen to the podcast You're Wrong About, and there's 5 Diana series.
I've heard about this.
Superb. And that lovely balance that no one is perfect, but also you don't have to be perfect to get accepted. You should just be, we're allowed to make mistakes. No one is perfect. Do you know what I mean? A lovely exploration of Diana.
Cool. I'll check that out.
Yeah.
Nice. Favorite movie? Can you pin it down to one?
No, you're gonna have to pick a genre. You're gonna have to pick a decade. You're gonna have to pick something.
Right. But if I had to make you watch one movie for over and over for the rest of your life, is there one that you could put up with for the rest of your life?
My head says The Shawshank Redemption.
Mm-hmm.
My heart says Anchorman.
I'll let you have both of them, okay? For balance. A concert you'll never forget.
Dermot Kennedy last year. Spiritual experience. Myself and Tara, after the navigation coach went, and we were nearly, again, it was one of those, like, we're in the presence of greatness, presence of absolute, like, what is our lives, Tara? What is our actual lives when this incredible musician being so passionate about his work and who he is and what, like, we just felt like we're in the presence of greatness.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Sounds amazing. What do you keep on your bedside locker?
Okay, to the left, lamp.
To the left, to the left.
I was like, lamp to the left to me. Dogs to the right. My lamp, a radio that I never use, Alexa. I got this gorgeous gift from a team down the country, and it had rituals stuff in it around the time of the mother and baby homes bill, and it's got this ritual spray. On the other side, then I have a chair, and I've got Michael D. Giggles. Do you know that Michael D. Giggles that you press? He goes, and some books that I say I'll read, but I'll never read. And an Amazon thingy, Echo Kindle thing. Yeah.
What do you prefer to read? Paperbacks or Kindle, or are you?
Paperbacks, yeah. Paperback, yeah.
And do you have a favorite book?
I do go back to Wuthering Heights a lot. Yeah.
Comfort reads are nice, aren't they? Like, I'm rereading Anne of Green Gables to Sophie, and oh my God, like, I can't get over how I now I remember why I read it, like, over and over and over again. The whole series is just so current and so comforting and so beautiful.
I get it.
Like, we laugh out loud most nights when we're reading it.
I have to be careful because I have to not read work books before bed.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Couldn't do that. I couldn't do that.
And I found myself kind of doing it more and thinking, oh, I'll just have this like podcast, which is like Fern Cotton. And I'm like, no. You don't need to be fixing or doing anything like that now before bed. Yeah. Pretty perfect. Read your romance novels, Maria. And
absolutely. It has to be fiction before bed for me. Totally.
Or into Maeve Binchy. Into bed with Maeve Binchy.
Yeah, definitely. Totally agree with you. I keep work books for the morning to kind of build my muscles and just get me kind of for the
pumped.
Day. Pumped, indeed. I had an idea, guys. I don't know where that came from. The book I devoured at breakfast. It's really interesting, isn't it? That Sheryl Sandberg thought of the same thing. It's crazy. Something that you're deeply grateful for right now.
Oh, my house. My house, that pink door.
Your haven.
Yeah, my house and my health. Basics, but yeah.
No, I get you. Yeah. What's your favorite word? Do you have one?
Palindrome sounds nice.
Good word. Mm-hmm.
Serendipity is nice.
Oh, I love that word. That's a lovely word. Yeah, love it. Yeah, but, do you have a favorite curse word?
Probably just gowl.
Gowl's very clean.
Yeah. But probably the most instinctive one is like if I stub my toe, fuck! Good though, do you know, it just hits the spot.
Isn't it? I know. My most watched reel is the one where I say the word dick a lot. I've got other ones that actually will do something for you. You might actually get something from. But no, the one that I've said dick in many times is all the views. So just swear in all your,
let's just call a spade.
you know, yeah. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Yeah, rock star.
Oh yeah, well, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I asked.
Like Debbie Harry, Patti Smith maybe, or Stevie Nicks. I think I'd be a 70s rock star. Yeah, I think I'd be useless at the lifestyle. I think I love the idea of the lifestyle, but I'd be rubbish at it. I'd be like, lads, I just need to be in bed by 10:30, 11, and I need a cup of tea with oat milk, and if anyone's got a matcha latte. But I love the idea of singing with a band, and being the star of my own show.
And if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at those gates?
Wow. God. I can't say it.
Oh.
I can, but I'm going to start bawling. You said, I asked you not to make me cry.
I know. Well, I said I would though, so.
Yeah. Maybe something like, sorry.
Do you know what we can do?
No, I'm getting there. I'm just slow. Can just imagine me in group training. No, it'd be something like my family are there, like, it's so good.
Come on in, they're all waiting for you.
Yeah. Or I love you so much. Look what you did.
Yeah. Well done you.
Yeah, well done you. Played a blinder for the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that, Maria.
Thanks.
Well, on that note of making Maria cry, I really achieved my goal. I mean, that was the goal for Sunday morning, and we made it. Yay me.
Makeup intact. I did well.
I have this superpower that I can cry and nobody be able to tell I was crying like 5 minutes later. And a girl I used to work with used to call me names first, because we'd be in the bathroom crying about something that happened, and then she would be all blotchy and she'd look at me and go, "You're a fucking bitch, Brady."
I know you're a fucking bitch, Brady.
Like 2 minutes later, I'm like, "Oh, okay, that was a lovely cry." And
isn't crying the quickest form of cortisol release?
Amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, so like stress is cortisol. I think crying is the quickest release of cortisol. So I'm like, out it comes. Yeah.
When I was a kid, I couldn't cry. I wouldn't cry.
Yeah.
And I had to learn how to do it in my 20s, I don't know, even later. And oh my God, I love it now. Now I'm just like tearing up.
Again, pump it.
Yeah,
pump it really good.
Every night last week, what with Bake Off, my book that I was crying over finishing, toy show. I watched Bake Off twice, so I cried twice. I mean, it was a great week.
The last 7 minutes of Bake Off, I just bawled. I know, gorgeous.
Oh, good though. It feels so good.
Yeah, and all those Christmas ads staying in on top of it.
We need to get in touch with those emotions.
Like little decortilization machines. Blah, 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 blah.
Well, Maria, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me in your lovely little YouTube world.
Thank you. I can't wait to post this because I think everybody's going to love it. You're a lovely lady. Thank you so much for bringing your light.
Such great company.
Thanks. And thanks everybody for watching. And we'll see you all soon.
Bye.